Hello there, hi, good afternoon, good evening, good morning, how you doing? It's Jim. Welcome back to the channel. Welcome to the channel if it's your first time here. We listen to music, we talk about music, we do all sorts of music-y stuff, and it is good. Today we are listening to something called The Bell Ringer, or at least the first little bit of it. Now, this is a really quite a long, when I say quite long, I mean sort of over 2 hours, seasonal rock opera, for want of a better description. This is a request from Pam Alumi Eltanen, who was a contributor to the Vimeo request that I had out a month or so ago, and obviously as part of that I was offering some rewards, and it was to sort of listen to some music of your choice. And she said, right, hold on, I want you to do something, but wait till we get to near Christmas, because it is a Christmassy tale. Overall, it's about 2 hours and something long, but if we just really want to go for a little bit, maybe just do the first 25 minutes. So I'll just read you a little bit about it. Would you be interested in doing a holiday-themed rock opera video in December? Yes, Pam, I would. You'd definitely have to break it up into multiple videos, because it's so long, but we're not doing that. We're going to do one bit. James LeBray and Jordan Rudas feature in it, but not in the bit we're going to see, I'm afraid. And they make separate appearances on separate tracks. The full version is available on physical copy, but the YouTube version, which is what we're going to be looking at today, has additional narration on there between the songs, so it sort of builds the story out to something sort of more understandable and accessible, I think. It's also played live by the band, although recorded remotely during lockdown. So because it's such a long piece, Pam has agreed that actually it's fine just to listen to the first 25 minutes. So she's just play the first 25 minutes. Because it's a rock opera with narration, it may be enough to then pique other viewers' interest in this and want to go and watch it and seek it out by themselves. Or even, with encouragement from everybody, come back to the rest of it myself sort of over the next week or so. I've got lots of stuff on, so I don't really know that I'm going to have the time to sort of get through that. But it's definitely a seasonal story. The album itself is just the songs, but the video, which is what we've got here, has the tie-in story narrated and band members playing. Timing-wise, it would tie in well with Advent, and it is by a band called Symphony North. And I don't know if it's actually a band or an orchestra or a collective or what it is, but it's they're called Symphony North. Right. So I don't really know what to expect, but we should expect the unexpected. So here we go then. 3, 2, 1, click.
Jack Morgan stepped off an old Greyhound bus into the city of his childhood. 30 years he'd been away, drifting, trying to escape memory. In the dark morning hours of another Christmas Eve, the bitter cold of a Bronx December chilled him to the bone. He was out of money, out of prospects, and out of hope if he was honest. There'd been no one to come home to. In some ways, he wasn't sure what had led him back here to begin with. What was the old saying? You can't go home again? Still, everyone winds up somewhere, don't they? And Jack was no good at being idle. Against the bus terminal wall, a yellowed help-wanted flyer promised what it called surprising wages for ringing a charity bell. No experience necessary. He noted the address and got moving through the dark morning cold. The ad led him deeper into the city of his youth, and eventually down a narrow alley. Oh, every city had one. Not overly dirty, but left alone. place you'd never find if you weren't looking for it. No need for a house number, though. Jack just pushed in at the only door with a light, a bare bulb buzzing weakly against the alley gloom. A forgotten place, which suited him fine.
So here we go. The bell ringer.
Every city holds an office down an alley with a single light, and an old man sits there every Christmas night. Through his smile he watches the door for men of broken dreams. Bearing up and down, he says them out to share our burdens. And we
Flying V violin. It's funny.
our last chance, the only one left to them. Interpretates all through them, but the man he knows the simple magic of that chime. Just like the thought of slaves in flight as they sail high against God. Winter night they sail out on their way with the hope no dream is ever lost.
It's got a great voice.
It's like they're answering every childhood prayer. The ones just for themselves, the ones with no strength to share. This time it calls out loud. This time you know it is their
Very good. Very clever. You talk about having Easter eggs and things. Well, they've also got Christmas baubles.
So listen to the invitation. The bellman's at his station, despite his fragile heart. Do you hear him? Songbirds tell his story. Not for gain or glory, just to fill a pot with coins like they he thought he'd lost. And the chime it beats out strong from a hand that wants to know if there are any left who hear its song. Up and down the boulevard, on those steady streets, winter bells return your memory.
How difficult must it be to play live like this across the internet? The technical complications of doing it must be massive. How do you do it? The biggest problem is going to be latency, surely. That they're all
As dark and cold and
Anyway.
lonely as was the city beyond the door, So was the little office, bright and warm and filled with good feelings, all of which seemed to radiate from an old man seated behind a small desk. The fella showed Jack a cheerful grin and invited him to sit a spell. In those small hours of morning, the two men spoke, sharing the confidences that men do. Jack told of his boyhood on the streets, his years as an orphan, his military service, the passing of his wife to cancer, and the loss of his child. The old man, who'd introduced himself as Pops, took it all in, nodded with understanding, and in exchange offered Jack a dented bell, again promising surprising wages. With no real expectations, Jack accepted the job, shrugged into the bell ringer outfit, and headed back out into the cold where he'd stand a corner post to fetch spare change. At the door, Pops caught his eye and with a knowing smile added, "You're accountable now," to which Jack dutifully nodded. He knew nothing if not how to wait out on a lonely street in hope of some small grace. Through the city streets, Jack walked over fresh fallen snow. The last of the moon's light glinted here and there as the city came to life. Everywhere were tokens of the season. Colorful lights, holly wreaths, horse-drawn carriages bearing jingle bells. It was enough to stave off the cold, if only for a short while.
Where do we get next? Jolly old Wenceslas. On the feast of Steve. No. This is wicked. So clever. I love it. All the little hints at different carols.
Jack hadn't been at his post long before an older woman came upon him. She had a mild look about her, a look that told of wakeful nights when money was tight and bad news scratched at the door, the look of a widow long left alone. But inside that look was something more, something strong, something dignified. Jack sensed that life had put the screws to her, much the way it had to him. He knew from screws, but it hadn't gotten the best of her. Sure, her dress may have been worn, her shoes old, but she'd fared better than he had at it all. That much was clear. Still, he wouldn't ask her for a tin dime. Life had taken too much from her already. Jack wasn't about to ask for 1 penny more. It was then that she did the simplest, most beautiful thing.
What is it about a New York accent where they don't pronounce the TH as a ting? Instantly recognisable.
She sees him standing there.
Okay.
Inviting her to sacrifice a coin that means a little more to one who has no coin to share. His tired eyes are worn with care, but her choices have left her bare. Can she find a lone coin she can spare? Winter's chill is biting and it's frightening as the crowd goes by. She wonders if tomorrow there'll be snowy skies. Her coat threadbare, it's heaven's
This is a very well edited video as well.
The bell ringer's eyes, they patiently wait. No judge with their right one accepting his fate. He shakes his hand, letting her know it's too much to ask of one who's fallen so low. Who is this man? Seeing her pain, doesn't he ring his bell for gain? And then she knows if she can find a single coin to answer his chime, the heart in my changes and all of her sight. It's standing right here on this winter's night, and so she stands firm and gives him a nod. Tonight she will
I think we've got 8 musicians so far.
She believes that one more coin will help to give a man a little hope, and she has strength, so she will do without the thing she thought she had to hold. She drops her coin, then smiles to herself and listens to the bellman ring, reminding her what Christmas is about. The story of it ringing her
Nice. Really good editing.
His faithful time, she harvests time. 'Cause she believes that one more coin will help to give a man a little hope, and she has strength, so she will
wicked.
The woman introduced herself as Eliza, then offered a resolute smile and disappeared down the walk, a certain grace in her step. She'd been a dancer once upon a time, though long now without a partner. Soon after she'd gone, Jack got word about a man nearby who wanted to offer a donation but had no legs to make the trip. Briefly leaving his kettle, Jack made his way down another forgotten alley. Rounding an old dumpster, he found his donor, a disabled gentleman who, by the look of it, made the street his home. The two men just stared at each other for a few moments. Then, finally, the younger fella began to speak. Going by the name Maurice, it turned out the guy had been a firefighter and lost his legs in the line of duty. Life had gone hard for him after that. He'd lost his home, had to leave his daughter to be raised by his sister. Now, he made out as well as he could on the street. He wore no coat and had, laid out before him, an old newsy-style hat which he used to fetch coins. It was from there that Maurice began to gather up what offering he could make.
Oh, another new character. Singer.
Christmas is coming, the world is moving fast. Please put a penny in the poor man's hat. Christmas is coming, the world is moving fast. Please put a penny in the poor man's hat. If you haven't got
Making his way back to his post, Jack realized that in at least one way, he and the young disabled fella were the same. Neither of them had a home. Neither of them a place to be. That had been true for Jack for a long, long time. Before the past could swallow him up, though, a delightful sound rose up from further down the street. Helpless to do otherwise, Jack followed it. Moments later, he came upon a group of street carolers, complete with a little brass band, all doing their best to lend the brisk Christmas Eve morning some cheer. A few steps closer, and Jack stopped, sweet surprise blooming inside him. Leading this little band was the older woman, Eliza, the widowed dancer, who'd stopped by his kettle not an hour ago and put her penny in as if to show him that one more coin really could help. Undaunted by her task, impervious to the cold, she led their song. A song Jack had heard 1,000 times, but never quite like this.
There we go. Right, we're stopping. My goodness, this is good, isn't it? We are 25 minutes in, so what's that? Nearly a quarter of the way through. Not quite, but it's. This is really good stuff, Pam. Thank you so much. I think having sort of watched and listened to this, I feel slightly uncomfortable playing the rest of this. I mean, I want to listen to it, and I really want to, but I also completely understand the effort and time and hours and hours and hours of input that a lot of people have put into making this, and I don't want to play the whole thing on here because I think this really is a substitution for watching it in real. So if you want to see the rest of this, and I think you ought to and you want to, actually go and watch it from the correct place, because perhaps this first 25 minutes is a bit of an appetizer, if you will, and it needs you need to go to their website to watch it, because I think it needs to be seen where they can benefit from it, I think it's just so good. Well, I did say right at the beginning, it's like in a lot of sort of modern pop culture, there are what have been called Easter eggs, aren't they? You know, sort of little in jokes and if you know sort of references. Well, it's the same in here, but it's obviously not. I'm going to call them Christmas baubles, because there's lots of little Christmas carols and Christmas songs and references to absolutely sort of timeless pieces of music and stuff that everybody knows. Everybody knows. We've known it all since we were tiny children, and it's wicked hearing it sort of reinterpreted and represented and played in this way. It's fantastic. It's such a clever concept, really, and a very, very talented bunch of musos. I don't know who is who in this and what their backgrounds are and what the band is and all the rest of it, but by golly, they've done a good job on this. Really, really good job. I'm going to go and buy this album because I think this is fantastic. It's really good. Pam, thank you. Ringing the bell here. I hope that you've enjoyed this, everybody else. And as I say, please, if you want to find out where the story goes and what happens, go and watch it. The link is below. And yeah, click on that. Don't click on me. Go to it properly. And I will see you all on the next video, whenever and whatever that is. And until then, this is Jim, over and